As Christy opened the door, she was horrified to see a dog sitting on the bed staring at her intensely. Christy thought to run, but Alhaji Adamu was blocking the doorway, smiling and holding bundles of money. "Sleep with my dog, and all this money will be yours." In a small village called Opa, there lived a young lady named Christy. She was known for her hard work and kind heart. Christy had finished primary school many years ago, but couldn't continue her education because her family didn't have enough money. Everyone in Opa knew her mother as Mama Christy, a gentle and caring woman who had raised Christy alone since the death of her husband years ago. The two women rely on a small farm Christy's father had left them to grow food and make a living. Every day from early morning until late evening, Christy and her mother worked hard on their farm. They planted crops, removed weeds and harvested vegetables and fruit when they were ready. After working on the farm, Christy would take the products to the local market to sell. The money she earned puzzled much, but it helped them buy other necessities. Life was difficult for Christy, but she always tried to stay positive and keep a smile on her face. One Sunday afternoon, as Christy was returning from the market, she saw a shiny car driving down the dusty village road. This was an unusual sight in Opa, where most people walked or used bicycles. As the car came closer, Christy recognized the driver. It was her childhood friend, Amanda. Amanda had left the village years ago to seek her fortune in the big city. Now she was back looking glamorous and successful. When she stepped out of the car, all the villagers gathered around, amazed to see one of their own who had made it big in the city. Amanda hugged Christy warmly and insisted on visiting Christy's home. She brought gifts, two expensive wrappers for Mama Christy, and for Christy a new wig and some fashionable dress from the city. Christy and her mother were overwhelmed by Amanda's generosity. Amanda told Christy all about life in the city. She described tall buildings, busy streets, and exciting job opportunities. "If you come to the city," Amanda said, "I am sure you will make enough money to tear down this old building and build a new one, better one within 1 month." Christy was shocked. "Really? Are there such well-paying jobs in the city?" After Amanda left, Christy couldn't stop thinking about the possibilities of a better life in the city. The next day, she approached her mother and said she wanted to go to the city with Amanda to look for work. Mama Christy thought long and hard about this idea. She was worried about her daughter leaving home, but also wanted Christy to have a chance to a better life. Finally, she agreed to let Christy go. On the day Christy left for the city, her mother hugged her tightly with tears in her eyes. Mama Christy said, "My daughter, go safely and always remember where you come from." Christy promised, "I will make you proud, Mama." Then she got into Amanda's car, feeling both excited and nervous about her new adventure. As the car drove away, Mama Christy waved them goodbye. On the way, Christy asked Amanda many questions about city life and what kind of work she might be able to find when they arrived the city. Christy was overwhelmed. The streets were crowded with more people than she had ever seen in one place. Tall buildings stretching up into the sky, and the air was filled with sounds of car honking and people shouting. It was a different from the quiet open space in the village. Amanda's apartment was a modern building with shiny floor and electric light luxuries Christy had never experienced before. The plan was for Christy to stay with Amanda until she could find a job and afford her own place to live. After a few days of settling in, Christy started asking Amanda about how to apply for jobs. Amanda, Christy said one morning, can we start looking for jobs for me? Should we start preparing my CV? Amanda just smiled and patted Christy's hand. Don't worry about that now, she said. Relax and get used to the city. As the days turned into weeks, Christy began to notice some strange things about Amanda's lifestyle, unlike what Christy had expected. Amanda didn't go to work in the morning like most people. Instead, she would sleep late into the day and then leave the apartment in the evening, dressed in flashy, revealing clothes as if she was going to a party. In the early hours of the morning, different expensive cars would drop her off at the building. Sometimes, Christy would hear Amanda arguing on the phone about money. Christy started to worry. I hope it is not what I'm thinking, she said to herself. She kept asking Amanda about job applications, but Amanda always changed the subject. One morning, after returning from one of her night outings, Amanda sat Christy down for a talk. You want to start working and living like a city girl, right? Amanda said, handing Christy a red dress. You are going to wear this tonight. Christy felt excited at the thought of finally making money, even though she didn't know what kind of job Amanda had in mind. Maybe it's a job as a waitress at a fancy restaurant or nightclub, Christy thought, about trying to stay positive. As the night approached, the two ladies got ready to go out. On their way, Amanda said to Christy, be a good girl and do everything you are told. If you are lucky, you might make your first 1 million tonight. Christy was shocked. Just like that? It is so easy to make money in the city. They arrived at a grand house party. There were many rich and important-looking men in attendance. Christy had never been to such a fancy event in her life. Amanda told her, smile and act like you have been to parties like this before. Christy did her best to blend in drinking and dancing like other guests. As the party was winding down, one of the wealthy men approached to her, introduced himself as Alhaji Adamu, the host of the party. I haven't seen you before. You must be new in town, Alhaji Adamu said. Yes, Christy stammered, feeling nervous. Alhaji Adamu suggested that they go somewhere quiet. You know, just the two of us, he said with a smile. Not wanting to be rude, Christy agreed. As they walked down the hallway, Alhaji suddenly grabbed Christy inappropriately and exclaimed, whoa, this girl is beautiful. Christy was shocked and scared. At that moment, she realized what was really happening and why Amanda had brought her to the party. This wasn't a job opportunity, it was something more worse. She pushed Adamu away forcefully. Don't touch me, she shouted. I am not that kind of girl. Christy ran back into the main room of the party, tears streaming down her face. She found Amanda and said, I am leaving. Amanda tried to calm her down, but Christy was too upset. She stopped out of the house and started walking down the street, not knowing where she was going but determined to get away. Eventually, Amanda caught up with her. They drove back to the apartment full with tense silence. When they got back, Amanda was furious with Christy. How dare you embarrass me like that? She yelled. You know how much money you have thrown away? That man touched me inappropriately, Christy said, still shaking from the experience. And what did you think you were going to do here? Work in an office with your village education? This is how girls like us make money in the city. Christy was shocked to hear Amanda talk like this. But you said there were good jobs in the city. Grow up, Christy, Amanda snapped. This is the real world. If you want to make real money, this is how it is done. The next few days were very difficult for Christy. Amanda was angry with her and refused to give her any food. Christy thought about going back to the village but had no money for transportation. One evening, Amanda received a call from the village. It was Mama Christy. Amanda handed the phone to Christy so she could speak with her mother. Christy, my daughter, Mama Christy began. How is life in the city, my dear? Try to send some money home as soon as possible. I am sick and I need money for medicine. Christy's heart melted. She assured her mother that she would send money soon, even though she had no idea how she would do it. After the call ended, Christy turned to Amanda with tears in her eyes. Even if I'm going to starve, please help me with a little money so I could send to my sick mother in the village. Are you not a woman like me? Don't you have what I'm using to make money? She said mockingly. That night, Christy couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about her sick mother and the expectation placed on her. By morning, feeling desperate and trapped, she told Amanda that she was ready to do whatever it takes to make money. Amanda smiled. Now you are talking, she said. She told Christy that there was another party that weekend and to get ready. Amanda finally gave Christy some food, preparing her for what was to come on the night of the party. Christy felt scared and conflicted. As she went to dress, she couldn't imagine what the night would bring, but she felt so she had no choice. As they drove to the party, Amanda gave some last-minute advice. Remember, the men here are rich and powerful. Be nice to them. Do whatever they want you and you will be rewarded handsomely. The party was at another luxurious house, even bigger than the last one. As soon as they entered, Christy saw Alhaji Adamu, the man from the previous party. He immediately spotted them and mentioned for Christy to join him. As the party came to an end, Christy followed Alhaji Adamu to his private room. When they reached the door, he asked her to go in first. As Christy opened the door, she was horrified to see a dog sitting on the bed staring at her intensely. Christy thought to run, but Alhaji Adamu was blocking the doorway, smiling and holding bundles of money. Sleep with my dog and all this money will be yours, he said. Christy was disgusted. She had thought Alhaji Adamu wanted to sleep with her himself, which was bad enough, but this was far worse than what she could have imagined. As Christy stood there frozen with fear and indecision, she remembered her mother's word, but then she thought about how much this money could save their lives. Christy made the most difficult decision in her life. Fine, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I would do it. Alhaji Adamu's face lit up with a cruel smile. He entered the room and sat on the chair, preparing to watch the horrific scene unfold. The next day, he drove her home in his luxury car. When Christy entered Amanda's apartment, her friend hugged her and said, "Well done." Christy broke down, crying, overwhelmed with shame and regret. Amanda tried to console her, saying, "Don't cry, Christy. It only hurt the first time. Look at all the money you made in just one night. This is how you become successful." For days, Christy was depressed and could barely eat or sleep, but eventually she tried to push her feelings aside and focus on the money she had earned. She rented a big apartment, bought a car and sent money to her mother in the village. Mama Christy was overjoyed. "Oh, my daughter, God bless you and your business," she said, not knowing the truth about how Christy had obtained the money. Christy became known as one of the most successful women in the city. She attended parties with rich and powerful men wearing expensive clothes. From the outside, it looked like she was living a dream life, but inside she felt empty and ashamed. However, Christie's new lifestyle didn't last long. A few months later, she became very ill with a strange sickness. She went to the best hospital in the city, but none of the doctors could figure out what was wrong with her. Christie's health got worse rapidly. She grew thinner and weaker each passing day. All the money she had made went to pay for medical treatment and hospital bills, but nothing seems to help. Eventually, she had to sell her apartment, her car, and all the expensive possessions to pay for more treatment. When she ran out of money and the hospital could no longer help her, Christy was taken back to her village. Mama Christy was shocked when she saw her daughter, the vibrant, healthy young lady who had left the village months ago was now a shadow of her former self. She was talking to the local traditional healer, and the old woman looked at Christy with sad, knowing eyes. "Child," she said, "what have you done to yourself in the city?" It was there that Christy finally broke down and confessed everything. She told her mother and the healer about the parties, the men, and the terrible things she had done for money. She cried as she spoke about her shame and regret. The healer tried her best, only using various herbs and traditional medicine, but nothing worked. 3 days after returning to the village, Christy passed away in her mother's arms, whispering apologies with her last breath. As preparations were made for Christie's funeral, the true story of what had happened to her in the city came out, and the villagers were horrified to learn about the things Christie had done. On the day of the funeral, the entire village gathered to mourn as the body was lowered into the grave, and the villagers shook their heads sadly. "Truly, money is not everything," they said. Mama Christie was inconsolable. She had lost her only child, and now she understood the terrible price Christie had paid for the money she had sent to her. In the city, Amanda heard about Christie's death. Fearing the villagers would blame her for her role in Christie's faith, she quickly packed her belongings and fled the country. As for Alhaji Adamu and the other men who had exploited Christie and the other young ladies, they faced legal consequences and were sentenced to life imprisonment. In the years that followed, Christie's story became a legend in the village of Opar. Parents will tell their children about the hardworking girl who left the village, seeking a better life, only to be led astray by false promises and easy money. The village elders use Christie's story to teach young people about the importance of education, hard work, and staying true to one's value. They emphasize that true success comes not from wealth alone, but from living a life of integrity and helping others. The tragedy of Christie's life led to some positive changes in Opar. The elders, realizing the importance of education and opportunities, work hard to establish better schools and vocational training programs. They also sought to create more job opportunities within the village so that young people wouldn't feel the need to leave for the city. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.